can play around with people in Kenya, but you cannot play with the American government. They have you on the radar. And the evidence is everywhere. And you cannot run away from it. So please, don't hide behind China. The issues you need to confront are well known to you. That you have compromised world security in pursuit of business interests.
Gentlemen, this evening as we speak, a bombshell of intelligence is currently being dropped in regards to a certain looming impeachment ahead of the unveiling of the 2027, the opposition presidential candidate ahead of the 2027 general election. Apart from that, there is some other details that have been linked, or another bombshell that has also been dropped by the former Member of Parliament of Gatondo South and also the former Cabinet Secretary of Trade, Moses Kuria, who recently resigned from his job as President William Ruto's senior economic advisor. Now, I want us to sit down and diverge deep into the current unfolding issues on matters, the bombshell intelligence that has been dropped on what is currently being planned by the opposition. Now, as we speak, we all know that the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is currently in the United States, where he has even gone ahead to extend his stay in the United States after the NIS, the National Intelligence Service, issued a red alert against Rigathi Gachagua due to the current information that Rigathi Gachagua went ahead to leak in regards to the current government of President William Ruto. Remember, Rigathi Gachagua has recently pointed out that President William Ruto is a man that is at the verge of leading this country to collapsing. Through what? Through what Rigathi Gachagua was regarded as William Ruto's move of working with terror groups that are currently terrorizing their countries and are also terrorizing Kenya at large. Now, diving deep into the the first bombshell intelligence that we are being given on matters regarding Gachagua and President William Ruto's fight, or let me say, the intel that we are receiving on a certain meeting that is being planned and that is supposed to take place a few days from now. This is what the Hustler Nation Intelligence Bureau, HNIB. Remember, this is an organization that was founded by one Dennis Itumbi during the time that he served as President William Ruto's digital strategist. They say the Hustler Nation Intelligence Bureau agents are reporting that the so-called United Opposition is currently headed to Dubai for a meeting to ironically try heal the divisions. Meeting in Dubai set for Friday this week. Key agenda. Number one on the key agenda of the United Opposition's meeting that is supposed to take place in Dubai, agree on joint candidates for the upcoming by-election, which, remember, the recent formation and the reconstitution of the IEBC has set ground open for re-election or by-election in different parts of the country where leaders, in one way or the other, they have lost, or some have even passed, leaving vacancies in different positions all over the country. Now, agree on joint candidates for the upcoming by-election. DCP wants to exclusively field candidates in Mount Kenya. Other parties are demanding a chance to demonstrate their strength in areas like Kariobangi. Wiper is demanding DCP drops Banisa candidate. Wiper is more acceptable among Muslims and Somalis. Reggie amesha choma with this Kikuyu narrative. Now that is what we are being told in regards to this. Number 2 on the agenda, they are supposed to agree on a timeline towards unveiling a single candidate. Kalonzo wants candidate unveiled by December this year so as to have time to campaign and raise resources. Other candidates want the surprise kept until 2027. Now, Kalonzo is the one that is currently pushing the unveiling of a presidential candidate by the united opposition by the head of this year, so that they will start lobbying and start an early campaign to try and fill their candidate and prepare the ground for campaigns against William Ruto. Number 3, impeachment of DP Kedora Kindiki and Speaker Moses Wetangula. All have agreed that they need to draw blood, and they view the removal of a key figure as a starting point to demonstrate their strength. Number 4, new wave of demos. Number 5, Rigiji homecoming. Now this is which is supposed to set the ground on about the united opposition. Rigiji homecoming, he will be in Dubai meeting, but will be left so as to stage a homecoming bigger than Kibaki's and Matiba. It is so declassified. Why are they comparing the homecoming of Rigiji back in the country to that of Matiba and Kibaki? Remember, back in the year 2002, when Kibaki was campaigning for the presidency under the NAK Kenya ticket, Kibaki had an accident. He was known to be the presidential candidate, but he had an accident in Mombasa Road. The accident led Kibaki to be hospitalized in London. But Kibaki, after he was recuperating, getting better while receiving medical attention in London, the United Kingdom. When he was able to return back in the country, his homecoming was so humongous that Moi and Co could not fathom the reception that Mwai Kibaki received when he came back in the country from London on the United Kingdom back in the year 2002. And that set the ground in motion for the election that made Kibaki the president of Kenya, winning against President Moi's candidate then under KANU ticket was Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So that is what they are setting the ground for Rigathi Gachagua. They want Rigathi Gachagua, once he returns, his homecoming back in Kenya, to be viewed as a hero's return, to be so much hyped up to a point that William Ruto and the government at large will know that Rigathi Gachagua, he really has something that can take on the government. Are we together? Now, allow me to go back to one issue. The agenda number 2, the unveiling of the presidential candidate. Remember, Rigathi Gachagua and all the other opposition principles in the united opposition, they have pushed one agenda. And that agenda is trying to discredit the government of President William Ruto, to make sure that William Ruto suffers the greatest blow before even they unveil their candidate who will take on Ruto come the year 2027. Remember, the united opposition at large comprises of Principal Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, the former Interior Cabinet Secretary, Dr. Fred Okengo Matiang'i. Apart from those, there are other people like Eugene Wamalwa. So now, Kalonzo is pushing that to make sure that they are ready for the campaigns or for 2027 election, they should announce their preferred presidential candidate early. Let me tell you why it matters and why Kalonzo Musyoka is speaking in this manner, and why I really support the move the call by Kalonzo Musyoka for them to announce the presidential candidate early. Let me tell you, back in the year 2018, when the government of Uhuru won election and it was sworn in power for the second time, demonstrations kicked in, led by Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Uhuru, fearing that the government would have collapsed or the country would be plugged into a wave of demonstration that will see this country go to the dogs, he called Raila Amolo Odinga to the table, negotiated with him. When this happened, William Ruto, then being his DP, realized that he has been short-charged. So what William Ruto did, from 2018 when the handshake between Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga happened, William Ruto began his campaign officially back in the year 2018. Everybody knew that William Ruto wants the presidency. So from 2018 to the year 2022, Ruto was campaigning so energetically. I mean, going forward to face off Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga with whatever it takes. Everybody knew that William Ruto is going for the presidency. But right now, where these people have failed is to unveil who really is going for the presidency, to prepare people psychologically so that they will view whether this person really has a chance against William Ruto. And let me tell you, this is where they go wrong. You know, regarding Gachagua is controlling the whole of the opposition. And let me tell you where they go wrong. President William Ruto is a man that sits down and strategizes. Ruto is a political beast when it comes to strategizing and taking on the enemy. Currently, people complained about the university funding model, or the how education had become so, the price of education had gone so up in this country. But Ruto came with a solution, cutting the fees for the universities by half. Are we together? That made people at least cool down their tempers. Now, he has gone ahead again today to announce that he has cut off the taxes on the people, or the prices for border borders. Anybody that is buying a motorcycle in Kenya, which was going for about 200,000, now will be going for about 100,000 Kenyan shillings, starting from today. So what does this tell you? It tells you that William Ruto is smoothing over, preparing his way into the hearts of Kenyans to make Kenyans love him again so that they will vote him in come the year 2027. And I dare tell you, if these people are going to continue sleeping on their announcement of who really is going to take on Ruto come the year 2027, then Ruto will destroy them fully. Remember, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was called by William Ruto the other day. They held a meeting. And after the meeting, Uhuru held a meeting with Jubilee Party where he told them he is ready to leave the party for the young people. But, people, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta recognizes the only leader of opposition that we have in this country is none other than Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Tuko pamoja. So what does this tell you? It tells you that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is buying into William Ruto's agendas. If Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is buying into these agendas, then he will bring his people here. People like Kalonzo Musyoka believe and trust in Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. They will follow Uhuru. People like Martha Karua and the other Fred Matiang'i, you will find them, they have joined this government. So it's about time this united opposition decides on what, you cannot be undecided for so long. You have to make a decision. You have to make a stand. And that is what they are being asked to do. Now, going forward, there is another message that has currently caught my attention, and I want to read it so clearly. This is a message by Honorable Moses Kuria on matters the 2027 general election. And I dare say this is a clear indication of what we should be, Kenyans should be worried by the messages that we are receiving from these leaders right now. Moses Kuria tells us this. Ahead of the year 2007 general elections, several analyses and predictive models were carried out, all of them both by local and international agencies, pointed to very high likelihood of post-election violence. Sadly, they were downplayed. 2 years before the 2027 general election, remember right now we are in 2 years before the 2027 general election, we are back to the same spot. I came across one model recently which I tend to agree with. There are 4 potential presidential candidates whose victory or defeat will lead to violence in equal measures. They win, we fight. They lose, we fight. There are 2 candidates whose victory will lead to peace after the elections. I hope someone somewhere is analyzing all possible scenarios. Who are the 2 candidates that if they win, there won't be war? One is William Ruto, because he is the president of the Republic of Kenya. So, I mean, he controls everything. So if the president wins, it's his second term, then, people will just cool their heels and decide, you know what? Let's wait for 2032. Let's wait and see how the president will carry out the business for the next 5 years. The other candidate who might win and there won't be war, allow me to tell you that one Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, if he is on the ballot papers and wins the elections of the year 2027, there won't be fight. There will not be violence. There won't be violence in this country. But let's go to the other candidates. If Gachagua runs and Gachagua wins, there will be war. If Gachagua loses, there will be war. If William Ruto loses, there will be war. Are you understanding the narrative that Moses Kuria is selling me? And that's why I'm telling you. The opposition right now should decide who are they fronting for the presidential seat. Mtazamaji, Chuma Kimotoni, I want to know what is your thought in regards to this. Leave a comment in the comment section.